dead end, there's this road dead
Dead
ends.
ends, but are all these the people that currently live there?
Yes. Or
And
that
so it'd be
truck.
built right across from them, there's gonna be a street in between?
No, it looks like flat, the lots will come into the, there will not be a new street. All lots will be.
So it'll just be on the right side here. Are they required to put in sidewalks if they develop?
Guess we
I'm
have
hoping so.
staff tonight. That's the limits we can use up. That's the first question, because I don't know, there may be different standards to city.
For the EGT,
Huh?
for the EJT,
Yeah.
Also, will the people that live there will there be a hearing on this so that the people who live there have an input?
I don't think it's for subdivisions, is there here?
I just wondered, because I know if I lived there, and they were gonna put all that in, I'd wanna have some input.
It's, as long as you're not changing the zoning or asking for a variance, it's a use by right. So there's just an approval procedure. And staff can explain this in their presentation, but I think tonight is just a part of that approval
Understood,
procedure.
this is the preliminary, I just think it would be good business practice to, let them voice their concerns if they have any.
I think when I go run tonight, I'm gonna run down there, literally run the road. But if what I've seen, they're older homes, maybe not great.
I've driven down there before.
And if you put all the new ones, I don't know. I have reservations, but I realize we're a advisory group and not the city council itself.
Right.
I was on city council, I don't know that I could vote yes for it, but
Yeah, I'm not sure I would either. I understand that's not our role.
I think all we're doing is just
yeah.
assisting staff to see that they meet the minimum requirements of the
Right.
ordinance.
We're just here to make sure that the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed, but.
If they had to change like the zoning district to have smaller lots or something, that would
Right.
involve a public hearing and the neighbors could come.
Yeah, I just think
Just
it,
feel bad for them.
yeah, I just think it, I mean, whether it's required or not, it seems that it would be the courteous thing to do. Yeah,
I
they,
did some of that last time. I had allergies last time. I was trying to hold in some coughing.
Are we only?
I was like, where's the peppermint at?
Is Alan not coming? He's who I always share my candy with. I haven't been eating it this whole time.
4 of us, it looks like, by name tags.
Who's the other one? Yeah, Alan.
Oh, they got him over there. He split us up.
Probably because of all the trouble you got to cause.
I know it.
Yeah, speaking of allergies, mine are so bad I can't even see. My eyes have been,
My wife's got them real bad right now. I had mine a few weeks ago, last month.
well, I think we got about 10 to 15 yards of wood chips from a guy that cuts down trees. And we were moving that around, and I think there may have been something in there. So my eyes just puffed. Everything blurry. I mean, I know I'm getting old and all, but my glasses still should work.
So I live in the neighborhood, behind that neighborhood, on the south,
The
Twin Lake,
okay.
kind
My friend Johnny
Curves
lives
up
down
there.
there.
Are there actually 2 lakes
of.
over there?
Mm-mm, Johnny Wilkins.
Oh,
He's my bike guy. He's my biking buddy.
okay. I know who you're talking about, I think. He lives on Twin Lake Drive,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like two houses down from me. I don't know him, but I see him with his bikes on.
Yeah, yeah.
His wife I used to see her, she'd walk every day, and she'd always say, hey,
Yeah,
I
I
haven't seen her walk
don't
in a
know
while.
her as well, but she was walking for a while. And
I never see him walk, but I used to see her walk a
he's
lot.
my bike buddy, though.
Okay,
He don't talk much.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna talk to you probably.
I've never talked to him.
If he does,
I've
he'll
waved at
mumble.
him.
You know, he'll mumble, but man, a few words. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I need a clear word before I can communicate with you.
Complete sentence.
My wife's got a cousin like that. I call him a functional mute.
Mm-hmm.
So are there actually twin lakes over there, or is that just a
It's 2 ponds.
false advertising?
No, there's 2 bodies of water. I wouldn't call them a lake.
There's a lot of things
They
down here you
do.
guys call lakes that
They
back home we'd
separate
call
us.
ponds.
Yeah, these are
Can
ponds.
you believe it?
Where am I going?
Over
They're
here.
right there.
Okay. We must have been talking too much. All right.
Not too bad, so.
Yeah, thank you.
How's your why?
Oh, wide open, man. About to get busier.
Y'all got Eric trained up yet?
Yeah.
Boy, he's still the same.
He came in the door trained up.
He's still the same.
Yeah, he is. He's,
Saw him, I mean, it's like we don't miss a beat.
yeah,
It don't matter how much time,
he's good. He's really good. He's,
but he has been for
see, I
years.
remember
He should
the
have had.
young Eric.
He was Mr. YMCA then. Boy, I had my boxing gloves on for a while, cause I took up for him, you know, but he's perfect for that job.
Oh, yeah, he's doing a
He
great
is
job.
perfect.
He hit the ground running too. He's,
Been employed there for a couple months, and I go in there 3 or 4 days a week, and I told him I've only seen you twice. I don't even know what you do.
he's busy back there putting out fires.
He's a perfect guy though for that,
Yeah, he really is.
that position.
I was excited when Cam made that decision. And he knows it. I mean, he's been in the programming side, he's
Mm-hmm.
aquatic side, he's done it all.
I mean, years ago,
Yeah,
we used to live across the hall from each other. And, we were like brother and sister. Ask Chris, he'll tell you. But
Yep. Y'all were 2 peas in a pod
when
for a
he
while.
ended up separating from the Y there, it hurt him.
did
I
it?
mean, you know, that's been his heart the whole time.
Yeah, he's
True.
matured so much. He's just, golly, he's.
You got married and had kids.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it to you, won't I? He's a good guy. I've always liked him. Wesley too, they're just good people. So are you running this show today?
I am. I'm standing in for manager.
Oh, that might be his cue to get us started.
Is it 5:30? It is.
Yes.
All right, so it's 5:30, and we'll call this meeting to order. This is May 16th, Town of Bowling Springs Planning Board meeting.
So,
And our first item on the agenda is to allow any comment from public that is here in the audience. Mr. Lattimore, you seem to be the only one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Had to work on
Staff, you need to make sure that comment's in the minutes.
that. That's right.
And we have food next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, so
We
the
got some candy.
next item is a consideration of the minutes from the April 18th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Is there any comments from the board or motions to approve or deny those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, any other discussion? No discussion? All in favor? We still vote by this,
We can do it by show of hands
Okay.
or voice
I was
tonight.
gonna say, I
That's
don't
the way I
have it
like
up
it.
on my.
Yeah, I don't either.
all right, all in favor? Aye.
Okay.
Unanimous. Our next item is a request for review of a major subdivision. It's a preliminary plat. And I'll turn that over to staff to give us a review of that request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. You have a major subdivision preliminary plat before you tonight. Mr. Lattimore, who is here on behalf of the owner, Mr. Wagner, has submitted a preliminary plat for a subdivision located off of James Lovelace Road in the town ETJ. The Unified Development Ordinance classifies a major subdivision as having 5 or more divided lots. A preliminary plat must meet the standards set out in Article 9 in the Unified Development Ordinance. So if you approve the preliminary plat, it would allow the development to go forward as they work to develop the property. There will be a final plat submitted to staff to make sure that the final plat and development meets the UDO standards. I'll note that if preliminary approval of the subdivision is granted, if the applicant doesn't start on the project within 24 months, it would cease to be approved and have to go through this process once again. In your packet, you have the preliminary plat that Mr. Lattimore submitted, along with the copy of the Unified Development Ordinance, as well as aerial photos. We also have a letter from the Foothills Regional Commission, who helps us out with our zoning matters, who also note that it meets our standards and recommends approval. I'll note on the aerial photo, I'm sure most of you are aware where the property is as it goes out of town on McBrayer Homestead Road, right there at the Masonic Lodge going up that road. So tonight we request your approval of the plat. You have the option to approve or deny the preliminary plat, and again, staff will approve the final plat if the preliminary plat is approved. So I'll be happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure Mr. Lattimore would be as well.
Has the board had a chance to review the plat in the packet? Any comments?
Sidewalks, will the developer be putting in sidewalks?
And curbing.
Do you know that?
It's
Mr.
already an existing road. I know we won't be putting the curbs, and I don't have that answer, but I don't think the development plan will. It's not required by the ordinance.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is now, but I guess I don't know if that applies to city limits or ETJ.
Noah, can you clarify is this in the ETJ or the city
It
limits?
is in the ETJ.
Because I'm looking at page 5 of 6, says sidewalks shall be installed with public street right-of-way on both sides of all newly constructed streets. But that is not a newly constructed street, but then I think, and I
Well,
come from that walkable, bikeable, movable, and I see we're putting sidewalks in front of new things that sometimes don't lead to anything, but I understand that's part of the policy, so.
Credit union, be an example.
Yeah, the other one on Barclay Road, but eventually the idea is that everything connects, it's more walkable, movable by people. Those are the things that I really like to see in newer developed areas.
Noah, can you explain to us the process the town's ordinance describes for plat approval?
So once staff receives a preliminary plat, we review it as staff to make sure it complies with all of our ordinances and utility requirements. We also submit that to the Foothills Regional Commission, which used to be isothermal, and they review it, their professional planning staff. Once we receive, once staff believes that it's good to go on our end, it's then submitted to you all as the planning board, who has the ability to approve or deny preliminary plats. If a preliminary plat's approved by you all, it then comes back to us for final sign-off to ensure that the end product continues to meet our ordinances and regulations.
Just wonder, because that's an old street, if that thereby gives them a loophole in this wordage here.
What page is that,
It's
Carmen?
on page 5,
I'm 5 of
16,
6 of the,
16.
Oh, the-
yeah, I printed mine out in 2 different packets, don't ask me why.
16 of the packet.
16 of the package,
Yeah.
yeah, 16 to 25. It's page 5 of 6 of the ordinance.
It's 9.4 down at the bottom. E, section E.
Lifted in 2 below, sidewalks shall be installed on at least one side of all newly constructed streets which front and/or private driveway access to residential lots within interior subdivisions, subject to the following additional standards.
It doesn't
I
really
was
state
under,
if it,
I think that,
I was under assumption that if there's any new construction going on, it had to be in there.
I was
it's,
too.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear. It says newly constructed streets.
yeah,
And there, we don't have any newly constructed streets with this request.
no.
Has staff, I mean, so during the staff's review, these are, staff does review all the standards,
We
the
do.
development standards, like the one that we're referring to.
Yes, sir.
So how does that work like on Main Street? Like with the tattoo parlor? Not a newly constructed street.
Is there something different for commercial uses, Noah? Is there,
Or inside the town.
Or like the bank, for example, that's not a newly constructed street, but they,
I'm wondering if it's got something to do with the fact that it's
Commercial
commercial
versus
versus residential.
I-
And then you got, on Main Street too, in town, you got that downtown overlay district as well that may have its own set of standards like sidewalks.
That's right.
I don't think this street would be considered part of the downtown
Mm-mm,
or within that overlay.
it's not.
Can I address something on? This is a state-owned street, and that may be the difference between your downtown is not a state-owned street. This, if you put sidewalks here, you'd have to have approval from NCDOT on, not the town, because it's already an existing, DOT system. I'm not saying that we can't grant, it, I'm saying they would have control over it.
Mhm. That'd be another approving agency in this situation.
I'm sure that the curb, they would have to put curb cut over it.
So this currently, as proposed, meets all the requirements laid out?
It
in the
does.
ordinance?
And I believe, like Mr. Martin said, that the downtown overlay districts has additional requirements for sidewalks. Because the property is in the ETJ, it doesn't have current sidewalks. There's no maintenance to sidewalks from the town's perspective. Then it would meet those requirements.
And you said it is a state road as well?
Yes, the SR numbers on the plate, maybe not be able to read it, but yes, it's a state road.
Okay.
The lot sizes seem consistent with the lot sizes that are already on that road, the 1/2 to 1 acre lot size. Is the zoning district of this parcel the same as the parcels on, all the other parcels on James Loveless?
It is.
So the same uses would be allowed,
That's correct.
same uses and similar lot sizes.
And it's kind of, you can think of it as a different subdivision than what you would imagine a subdivision being. You know, subdivision, you would go into one road that would lead into a big circle almost of houses, where this is just really allowing the property owner to subdivide that property to build those houses. So it's not like a traditional neighborhood. You need those sidewalks of connectivity. You're more or less just dividing the property.
This is also a dead-end road, so there's not a lot of traffic on it either.
I don't think the sidewalks, town sidewalks don't go up to James Lois, do they, Noah?
They don't.
No.
Cuts off right
Cuts off.
before.
Cuts
Or
off at
Twin
High
Lake,
Point.
or, yeah, High Point, that's right.
So on this map, what we're looking at here, the proposed homes would be in this little section that's, this little rectangle right here. I think, I'm just want to make
That's
sure I'm
right.
reading it right. And the only other thing I think I have for me is, like, I do kind of feel bad for the people across the street.
Yeah,
Also think it'll make their homes go up, but still could pose some things. I assume the city's water and sewer can support it, but no, that's not our,
It's probably on septic, isn't it,
It is.
on James Lois?
Yeah, we don't have any sewer down that way.
we have water out there?
We do.
I'd say too, it's, with the lots being the size they are, that's probably due to needing septic.
We
Right.
looked at this before. Seems
We
like
have,
wa-
I believe
what
it
they were-
was approved years ago, and the
Okay.
owner never moved forward with it.
That's, okay, I remembered.
I thought we had, but like I say, I don't know what happened. They don't show up there either, so I don't know.
I think it was a different proposed builder, maybe.
I ain't no answer.
Right.
Any other comments from the board?
No, it seems to meet all the requirements.
Yeah.
it
We-
meets the requirements, and I know that's how we're supposed to vote, but I think if I were city council, I'd want more information.
I agree.
I don't think I could vote for it in that capacity, however.
Yeah, we're more an admin at this point, making sure it meets the requirements.
And I see, I mean, I, for a walkable town, I see what you're seeing. You're seeing, if you can get that sidewalk, you've got 100 feet to the existing town sidewalk.
I guess because I have a hard time removing the lens that I'd help communities all over the country be more walkable and designed for business and people and not cars, right? So I sometimes have to separate that. But, I mean, I make a motion.
This neighborhood too, since it's dead end, I think the walkers would really be limited to the people that live there, and they may not want that. I mean, you never know. They may not, since it's a dead end, they may not even want a sidewalk there to encourage people that don't live there to cross over their private property.
And that's definitely the overall vision that we're heading to. And I think we find, as we get into the new land use plan, as we look for grants, it's certainly our goal to get to that walkability.
That's where my struggle is.
And I think it also allows us to find these little things that are not in the ordinance, and allows council to think about that, about changing the ordinance as we go along. So certainly we'll pass that along as we explore those opportunities.
Thomas, did you have a motion?
Yeah, I motion that based on the fact that it meets all the requirements, that we approve it.
I second
Second.
hesitantly, but I second it.
Got a motion to approve and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Hear none, motion passes. And we
Sir.
can make a note that Karma and the board identify an easy connection to the town sidewalk.
Well, I commend you on that. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to change the ordinance.
No, I agree. That's where, like, I'm thinking
You s-
town council has a perk, because then I could
Absolutely.
throw a monkey wrench in.
The opportunity is there.
Well, and
Nothing to require it though.
it just makes for a better development, I think, you know, because I wish my development had sidewalk
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean,
and
but you gotta
curbing.
put in the ordinance, you can't
I know, I understand.
Yeah.
But going
That's
down,
the thing, it'll make it more lucrative in the future as the
Absolutely.
town kinda, you know, 'cause
the
you think
property's
about,
more value.
we're in this unique situation where we're an hour from Greenville, Asheville, Charlotte, if that.
Mhm.
You got that large track at the dead end, that you never know, 20 years from now, that track may get developed and it may become a
Yeah, they may
looping
loop that
neighborhood
around,
Could be,
over there.
yeah.
could be a connection,
Mhm.
but no, I like that we think through it, you know.
We got anything
It's
else?
a good thought, though. I
That's all from us.
caught that opportunity when you started bringing that up.
Yeah, and I apologize, that's the lens I'm gonna look through everything on, so.
Hey, that's why we want diverse views, and that's why y'all are here and can
Well,
give that view to the council.
And I've been walking down Main Street for 30 years now, so, and you used to could get run over.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have a sidewalk. So, you know, I was real grateful when the town extended that sidewalk down to High Point. So I could just go down, catch the sidewalk and go down.
I live in a neighborhood kind of like this, you know, it's a dead-end neighborhood. And I don't personally want sidewalks in my neighborhood because it's real walkable. We don't have a lot of traffic, much like this one. But I wish the sidewalk came up the main road to my neighborhood because it'd be nice to be
Oh,
able to
yeah.
walk out of your neighborhood and then be on the
So
sidewalk.
that's the beauty of Creekside, that's where I live. And it's paved, we don't have sidewalks in there, it's a hidden, sort of quiet little neighborhood. But the one, main reason I was interested in that house, if I had to move back here, was I had sidewalk access to the town. And do active travel if I want to, by foot, you know, whatever. But that's again the lens that I work through in my everyday job right now, so I'm just used to thinking that way, you know.
When I'm comparing my neighborhood to this neighborhood, I'm thinking, for me, it'd be more important to get the sidewalk up Main Street to
To-
James Levis.
Yeah.
Because the people that live on James Levis probably aren't worried about traffic, because there is none.
Right, right.
They can use the road as the sidewalk.
Well, and I know from personal experience, I've helped a lady, I picked her up a couple of times to drive her home, because she walks up there with her groceries from Ingles. And, I mean, having a sidewalk would make it a whole lot
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
safer for her.
Yep. What's our next item? Noah,
That's all.
is
Adjournment.
that it? Have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Alright.
Passes.
All right, y'all have a good evening.
I got a bicycle calling my name.
Are you still, doing any, like 5Ks? and
Well,
Ironman?
sorta, I did this weekend.